Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Dan Blanchard from the Travel in Time with Dan show, where we mix travel with history and with leadership, and of course with me, Dan Blanchard. Today I am in Newport, Rhode Island at Stora Park over by Washington Street to talk to you about Thomas Tew, the Rhode Island pirate. Yes, he lived right here in Newport, Rhode Island. And he was a very interesting character, not like your regular, what you would think of the regular kind of pirates. He came from a very well-to-do family. He was a very well-respected of societies, and he's going to become one of the most famous pirates of the Golden Age of Piracy. So how does this happen for a well-respected man from a well-respected family? Well, he ends up down in Bermuda, and he's talking to Governor Isaac Ritchie down in Bermuda, right? And governor of Bermuda, we know there was a lot of piracy down there in the Bahamas, right? And the Caribbean and Bermuda, all that sort of stuff, right? The governor down there of Bermuda offers him a mark to make him a privateer, send him off the coast of West Africa to attack and loot like a French trading post out there. Well, him and another privateer ship, they get out there and they're going out there and they hit the storm. The other ship is lost at sea during the storm. And Thomas Tew is like, hey, what do you guys, maybe change the plans here, right? He says to his crew, hey, what do you guys say that we just sail around Africa and go into the Indian Ocean instead, right? And become pirates instead of privateers and make a lot more money as pirates, because of course as pirates they get to keep it all, split it up and make tons of money. They don't have to give a lot of money to the governor, right? So Thomas Tew, he's going to create what's called the pirate round, where pirates go into the Indian Ocean instead of just down into the Caribbean. And when he's in the Indian Ocean, he's going to come across a huge ship from the Mughal Empire, and there's going to be staggering amount of gold, silver, jewels, spices, you name it, right? There's going to be so much in there, and he's going to win. He's going to take that ship. He's going to take all the goods of that ship. Him and his men, who are now pirates instead of privateers, they're going to go back to Rhode Island, which is one of the busiest ports on the East Coast in the 1600s. And his men, who now have enough money for like 3 lifetimes, right? They're down there and they're spending lots and lots of money in Newport, and Newport's loving it. They're having their ships repaired. This is just good business for Newport, which again is one of the busiest ports in the 1600s, and they're making lots of money, and they don't mind taking some of the pirates' money, right? I mean, Tew is so rich, right, that he's a celebrity, super rich, super famous, big old celebrity. He even gets invited down to New York by the governor, Ben Fletcher, right? And of course, Tew comes with gifts in hand, right? Lots of gifts in hand for the New York governor. And the New York governor is like, hey, the only reason I have him down here in my office is because I'm just trying to reform him through conversation, trying to get him to see the ills of his way and reform him. That's it. Wink, wink. Hey, thanks, Thomas, for the presents, right? Go figure, right? Even the New York governor's in on it. So here's the thing, though. I mean, Thomas Tew is a celebrity, super rich, super successful pirate. He's like the most famous pirate of the Golden Age and all that. And he decides he wants to take a second voyage to the Indian Ocean, right? And he's going to go do it again. All right, he's going to do it again. Maybe he should have just left good enough alone. Because on the second trip over the Indian Ocean, right, and he's going to attack another, the Mughal Empire's ship, he gets killed by cannon shot. Yes, he gets killed, dies at a very early age, young age. He's killed by cannon shot. Probably should have just left it alone. He didn't need the money, didn't need anything, the fame, didn't need anything, but took a second trip over there, right? Now, even though he's killed at kind of a young age, right? His spirit and his memory's not killed. He inspires a whole new next generation of Red Seamen, right? William the Kid, for example, Henry Every, like for example, right? And this is like, the Golden Age of Piracy. So he played a big role, the Golden Age of Piracy. Again, he opened up that pirate round. Everybody had been just going to the Caribbean. He opens up that pirate round, discovers it, opens it up, goes to the Indian Ocean, lots of money there, and it just becomes super successful. So now the question is, here it is, Thomas Tew, was he a criminal? Was he an entrepreneur? Was he a pirate? Was he all three of them? That's the question I'm asking you today from Story Park in Newport, Rhode Island, overlooking the waters that the Newport pirates would have sailed. Yes. Was he a criminal, an entrepreneur, a patriot, or all three? Now, when I do my Travel in Time with Dan shows, I mix travel with history, with leadership, and of course, with me, Dan Blanchard, right? So, if you have not traveled down to Newport, you should, right? And come down and see these waters that the pirates, the Rhode Island pirates would have sailed. And you should definitely come down, check it out, the legend of Thomas Tew here in Rhode Island. History, I've given you a little bit of history. Now leadership, I'm going to give you some leadership. So what is the leadership? Well, the leadership is this. Short-term success does not guarantee long-term success, right? Thomas Tew had some short-term success as pirates, got super famous, all that. But long-term, went back for a second trip to the Indian Ocean, and it just didn't work out for him, right? All right, everybody. Thank you for spending some time with me today. Dan Blanchard for the Travel in Time with Dan show, where we mix travel with history, with leadership, and of course me, Dan Blanchard. I'll be back real soon with another great show. You take care now.